I think safe to say chicks are pretty stupid broadly, right? But hear me out. Don't jump to conclusions just yet. Hear me out, okay? So I think chicks are legit stupid. My reason is that they've got one of the most powerful things, all right? Like literally one of the most powerful things. You can get men to do some crazy stuff for just a little sniff of that pussy. And if chicks got together instead of sort of infighting with each other, I really think that women could rule the world. They could run the show. And I'll just so this is my little thought process that I went through to think about this, right? I was thinking, well, okay, it started with a filter, a Snapchat filter, where it made me a girl or put a face on me. And I was like, oh, wow, geez, this is interesting. So I was thinking, what would it be like if I was a girl? How would I be? And I thought to myself, well, I was a chick and I was like that attractive and had a good punani on me. I would literally not let anyone touch that punani unless they jump through every single hoop that I put up. Right? I was like, I would make absolute amazing men. I really would. I would identify the men with talent. I'd set them up with things that they'd have to do to get, a step closer towards getting the punani from me, right? Letting them touch it, sniff it, whatever. And I would make them I would turn them into monsters of men, like amazing, powerful, highly impactful men. I would make them jump through every hoop possible. And every time they thought they were just about to get it, I'd move it just a little bit, move the puck, I'd move it just a little bit to keep them going. Imagine if chicks did not give it up so easy. Is the point. The statement, chicks are idiots, is because honestly, if they were more if they held out from us more or required men to meet more criteria for them, so to speak, and didn't give it up so easy, I think they could really run everything. Like, the pussy is powerful, man. Like, I've seen dudes do some crazy shit for pussy and in silly directions, but you could use that for very positive things as well. Like, you could really help people to become more than what they otherwise would have been just by dangling that money in front.
Okay. I think I understand what you're saying now. So,
we're using it as a carrot, guy.
Right. So what you're saying is that they could be utilizing it much more than they already are. So that's why they're idiots, because they could really utilize it to such an end where they could eventually take over the world.
There are some women who have cottoned onto this idea and who have changed their entire lives and had impacts, outsized impacts on the world because of this. Like, there are many accounts of this, and not all of them are wildly beautiful or tens or anything else. Like, some of these girls, some of the girls, if you're going to be ranking, I'm not a big fan of ranking, but if we are going to be using a ranking system, like, there's some girls that are 4, 5s, and 6s that have taken this and been able to elevate themselves in terms of status and their partner, right? Like, they've really been able to. You've got your Ivanka Trump, your Paris Hilton and all those. Like, hers was a little bit different because she was brought into money with the Hilton family and the rest of it. Kim Kardashian with her porno and the rest of it. Like, these are just some examples, but I'm sure there's many other examples out there of this happening where they've used the power of the allure that they have, that desirability that they have, and they've used that to sort of get guys to do sort of outsized things to get access to that. And I think it's an amazing skill. And I think if more women used it, the world might be a very different place.
So I want to talk about why I think it being used for superficial gains is dangerous. And I don't think it's only dangerous for the women utilizing it for that, but it's also dangerous to the men that they are utilizing it on. Because if they're utilizing it for superficial things, the respect they're going to get from men is going to be a low level of respect. Men are going to think, oh, she's just fucking me for my money, right? And if a lot of women are doing this. This is kind of like the gold digger, I guess, realm category. I think that's really dangerous for the mental health of men and the mental health of women, because you're generating lots of men there that are going to start having negative emotions towards women. They're going to be saying things like, every bitch is just fucking me for my money. Every bitch is just a fucking gold digger. And every woman is just going to think, oh, every guy is just a sugar daddy. I get no respect, but at least they buy me things. Right?
Right. Yeah. So, but for them, that's likely true, and that's why it's like, I'm not saying anything like right or wrong or whatever. It's just, for me, that's not what I would want. I don't want the superficial. If people want it, go for it. Have it. Like that's perfectly fine. Do that. But to me, I think go for the deeper, more meaningful route. And I think you bias toward that direction as well.
Yeah, but I want to understand why you're saying that's fine if it's such a detriment to the mental health of both sexes.
If that's what they want, that's what they want. Like at the end of the day, there, like I said, I don't think there is, right and wrong. I think it's what we make of it. And so if that's their journey, that's their experience that they want to have in life, go for it. I can't help but have been exposed to that side of things with the superficial, and I've just seen it not work out at all for anyone in the long run. It might have been fun in the moment, but I think long term they really pay for that. And for me, I don't want to be paying for those things later on. I prefer to build that deeper connection.
You have this beautiful 10, and she's at home during the day in this mansion, and she's out by the pool on this nice pool with a lawn chair, beautiful backyard. I mean, this place is like a multi-million-dollar home, right? And she's out there, she's alone, and she's taking pictures for Instagram. And this is a daily thing for her. And I mean, yeah, she travels and she does all these things, but when it comes down to it, she's just this sort of prize or this element that this rich guy has obtained and put there. And what she's doing with her life is kind of sad, because I believe someone who hasn't worked really hard for what they have can't appreciate those nice things. And I just don't believe that there is joy in finding sugar daddies. I just don't believe that. There might be like instances of joy because, oh, I get to go, to France or to Dubai or wherever it is to take the best Instagram pictures maybe. But I don't think that that's a valuable life. And I don't think that is a happy life. What's your take on that?
Look, it doesn't seem to be the most valuable, but it might be serving a function for those people. This is the big difference here. This is the difference between one-dimensional and multi-dimensional, right? So one-dimensional and n-dimensional. In these one-dimensional cases, it's very lopsided. It's very putting all your eggs in one basket, so to speak. Whereas you want multi-dimensional approaches to things. You don't want it just to be the money or just to be the beauty or just to be any number of those one things. You want it to be a combination of all things. And I think that really is the case. But look, all you need to do, like this is for me personally, and this is not a judgment on anyone, but for me personally, I couldn't think of anything worse than, having everything paid for me and, not really having anything to do. I don't think that that's an enjoyable lifestyle. I grew up in a very diverse environments. So I was exposed to very wealthy people and also very poor, and different levels of education and society and all the rest of it, right? So with a lot of the wealthy side of things, I witnessed things that look good but were far from good, and on the poor side of things, things that looked bad, like there's a good saying. So it's looks good from far, but far from good, right? And then on the opposite of that, the inverse of that, right, where it looked terrible on the surface, but when you actually understood, it was actually beautiful. And so you see how things that look really good can actually be bad, and then things that look bad can actually be really good. And so it's a bit more nuanced than all of that. So I suppose what the sort of point is we as human beings, we need purpose and meaning. And if your purpose is to just be a toy or an object, if you're very low dimensional, right? If you're very, there's not a lot of complexities to who you are, you're a bit of a more simple person, then that might be enough to satisfy you in your life. And so, who am I to judge, or who's anyone else to judge? I typically don't think that most people are very, that low dimensional. I think we have the capacity to be very high dimensional people, or beings. And so, I think sometimes that probably isn't the greatest of experiences. Often, this is something I think about, is people, when they go, I just want to retire, or I don't want to work anymore. I just want to sit on the beach and drink margaritas, or I just want to sit on the beach and drink mojitos, or whatever their favorite drink is, right? Or drink beer every day.
For that.
Yeah, right. Like, seriously think about what that would entail. Like, imagine, again, I've been on holidays for weeks and months at times. And like, you might sit on the beach and have a couple of drinks or whatever. If you start doing that every day, every week, it just becomes boring because it's what you always do. Right. And so none of those dreams that, we allow ourselves to have at different times are realistic in that sense. Like, thinking like, oh, I wish I didn't have to worry about money. Well, you just worry about something else. Like it doesn't change. There's always going to be these issues. The trick is find out what you love doing, what gets you up in the morning, what gives you purpose and meaning, what lights your spark, what engulfs you in all of that. Develop those things and lean into that. And if for you it's just taking pictures of yourself and posting them online, that's what gives you your purpose and meaning, well, good luck to you. For me, that wouldn't be enough.
Okay, so here is what we're going to do, Rubes, all right? And every guy listening, starting today, we're going to change. We're going to change the narrative. It's going to become power of the cock. And here's how we're going to do it. Starting today, we're going to stop giving it up so easily. Okay? Our girlfriends, our wives, at the club, wherever, right? When we're talking to girls, we're not trying to fuck them. We're not going to try and get them in bed. We're going to wait, hold out, and eventually they're going to start, coming to us, right? They're going to eventually get to the point where, what's going on? Like, guys have suddenly, stopped going for me.
Guys are...
I used to get hit on all the time. Now guys barely look at me. What's going on? Right? And slowly but surely, if we all do this at the same time, if we all work together and hold out and put the cock on a pedestal, slowly but surely, we'll get the power of the cock.
100%. Except there's one problem, right? One problem with all of it on the women's side and the men's side is it only takes one dick to give in.
I know.
And it's fucked out plan. And then that dick is getting all the pussy.
Let's talk about, 7, 8s and up, right? Like 7s, 8s, 9s, and 10s. Girls, from a young age, in general, they're called princess, right? By their parents, by other people, family members, friends, right? Princess, princess, princess. All through their entire lives, always getting looked at, always getting hit on, constantly. And now social media has amplified it, right? So you have women walking around with this inflated ego because of the way that they were brought up, believing that they're sort of like this gift to men. So there's no need for them to develop socially to the same level that men are required to develop. So a lot of times these women do seem kind of stupid.
And I think that's an interesting point. I think we could, if we deprive them of dick, we might be able to help elevate them up to a higher status. It's what you're getting at.